Today we're going to be going over the first-time homebuyer programs in Ontario. So if you're a first-time homebuyer, you definitely don't want to miss this one. Back when I was a first-time homebuyer, I was a little confused as to what the different programs were. That's why today I'm going to go through and share my screen here with you guys and go through one by one what each program is and how they can benefit you as a first-time homebuyer. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button as well. That way you don't miss these videos in the future.
Okay, so there has been some confusion over the past couple of years in terms of what the programs are that the government offers first-time homebuyers. So I'm hoping this video clarifies exactly what the 5 programs are. So what are these programs? Essentially, the government has put together 5 different programs that are created for the first-time homebuyers that are geared to helping them purchase their first home. So the 5 programs are the First-Time Homebuyer Incentive, Homebuyer's Amount, which is the tax credit, the GST/HST New Housing Rebate, the RRSP Homebuyer Plan, and lastly, the Land Transfer Tax Rebate. So starting with the First-Time Homebuyer Incentive. It's essentially a shared equity mortgage with the Government of Canada. So how this works is they essentially own a stake of your property. So the benefit to going this route is it actually helps homebuyers with down payments. So if you're someone that maybe wants a lower mortgage payment by having more of a down payment, then you can go this route. Or if you're actually someone that doesn't have even 5% for a down payment, then you can use this program because what the government is doing is they're giving you 5% for a purchase price for a resale existing home. So that will help any home buyer that doesn't have the down payment. And also, if you're looking for a new construction, they actually give you up to 10% of a down payment. So the only caveat to this is you actually have to repay the incentive after 25 years or when the property is sold, whichever comes first. And you could also repay at any time in the full amount. So to give you an example, if you're purchasing a property for $200,000 and you receive a 5% incentive from the government, which would equate to $10,000, if your home increases to $300,000 by the time you go to sell it, the payback to the government is actually 5% of the $300,000. So you notice that you're actually giving more to the government. You'd be giving $15,000 versus the $10,000, and that's because the government owns 5% of your property. So that is essentially the downfall to this program. To be honest, I don't see a lot of first-time homebuyers going this route. Obviously, this isn't going to work for everyone, but I always try to ask my clients, maybe there's a possibility for them to go to a family member for a gift, because I'd much rather them go and get a gift from a family member versus having the government own a stake of your property. So to sum things up with the first-time homebuyer incentive, I don't necessarily recommend this to my clients. It's kind of a last case scenario for them. However, it is there if that's an option you're interested in. The Homebuyer's Amount Tax Credit. So what this essentially does is it assists first-time homebuyers with costs associated with purchasing a home. Some of these costs might be the legal fees or land transfer taxes. And it's essentially a $5,000 non-refundable income tax credit amount, which in turn equals out to about $750 given to you at tax time return. So it's not a lot, but it's something to help you with those closing costs. And how to qualify for this is you must not have lived in a home by you or your spouse or common law within the last 4 years. And you also must intend to occupy the home within 1 year of purchase. So it's not a big program, but it's essentially $750 given back to you at tax time. The GST/HST New Housing Rebate. So you might be eligible to receive the rebate if you purchase a new construction property, or if it's a new home that has been substantially renovated, then you can receive this GST/HST rebate. And how it works is a portion of the GST can be covered via a federal rebate, which is the purchase price must be equal to or less than $450. So it can't be any more than that. That's a downfall to this. And a portion of the PST or remaining HST can be covered as well. So this program is a little technical. This is definitely something to go over with your lawyer because they know a lot more on this than I do. However, the rebate coverage is capped at $24,000, so it won't be any more than that. So to give you an example, this represents pretty much 6% on a $400,000 purchase price. So it is a decent credit or rebate there. And again, this is something to go over with your lawyer. This next one is one of the more common programs that first-time homebuyers use. And how this works is the RRSP Homebuyers Plan allows you to withdraw from your registered retirement savings plans to buy or build a qualifying home. So if you're a first-time homebuyer and you have some money in your RSPs, you can essentially use up to $35,000 tax-free per applicant. So if you and your spouse purchase your first place and you both have $35,000 in each of your RSPs, essentially you can take out the $70,000 together, which is nice. With that being said, it must be repaid within 15 years, and your first payment is due 2 years after you withdraw the money. So how you qualify for this is the RSP funds you borrow must be in your account for at least 90 days prior to withdrawal. You also cannot have owned a home within the previous 4 years. If you're buying with a spouse or a common law partner who is not a first-time homebuyer, you cannot have lived in a house they owned for the past 4 years. You have entered into a written agreement to buy or build a qualifying home. You must intend to live in the home within 1 year of purchase as your primary residence. If you've used the home buyer's plan before, you cannot have had any outstanding balance due. And you also must undertake the withdrawal from your RSP within 30 days of taking the title of the home. You must be a Canadian resident as well. Land transfer tax refund. So you're eligible to receive up to $4,000 towards your land transfer tax. And how this works is whenever you purchase a home, you always have to pay land transfer tax. And as a first-time home buyer, you actually are eligible up to $4,000. And one thing to keep in mind is if you are purchasing in Toronto, it is actually double the cost for land transfer tax. Not many people know that, but essentially you're paying the Ontario land transfer tax as well as the Toronto land transfer tax. But with that being said, you do get up to $4,000. And this isn't something you have to pay for up front and you get it at tax time. You actually get the rebate right away at the lawyer's office when you go to sign the papers come closing time. So you also have to be a first-time homebuyer with your spouse as well. So if your spouse isn't a first-time homebuyer, the lawyer can actually register the signers under a different percentage of ownership. Now, this is something to ask your lawyer as well, but from my experience, the lawyer can actually register the first-time homebuyer as a 99% owner, and the other spouse who isn't a first-time homebuyer is essentially registered at 1%. Now, don't quote me on this, but I have had that happen in the past with a lawyer, so again, this is something to go to your lawyer with. How to qualify for the land transfer tax is you must be over the age of 18, and you also must be a Canadian citizen, cannot have previously owned a home, and you must live in the home within 9 months of purchasing.
So I hope that helped you guys understand the difference between each program and how they can benefit you as a first-time homebuyer. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below, and I'll see you on the next one.